as an agency owner myself, I'm very excited for this particular panel. So without further ado, let's give it up for the speakers for today's panel. And they are my personal favorite. They've been guiding me time and again when I really need them most. So the first one we have is Akshay Gurnani. And let's say hi to Akshay. All of us go in the chat and say hi, Akshay. All of you just go to the chat and say hi, Akshay. And I'm putting Akshay onto the spotlight right here. I'm just going to make him a co-host as well so that he can switch on his video and cam. The next speaker we have, so Akshay is founder of Shabang. He's India's, that's one of the leading digital marketing agency of the country, someone I look up to for guidance. And we also have with us Rajiv Dingra, and Rajiv also ran an agency earlier, which is called What Consult, again, one of the leading digital marketing agencies of the country. Right now, Rajiv is founder of RD&X Network, which is Unified Ad Tech Intelligence Platform. So we're going to look at this from a marketing intelligence perspective as well. So welcome on to this, Rajiv and Akshay. I'm so excited to have you guys in today's session. And I'm sure there's a lot that all of us can learn from each other. So yes, so hello, Rajiv and Akshay. How are you guys doing today?
Hey guys, hi. Hey Rajiv, hey Sorav.
Hi Akshay, hi Sorav, how are you guys?
Very, very good. So, all right, let's begin this session. So I have the first question for all of you. What's that one big thing a client will look forward to seeing in 2023 from agencies, according to you? So we'll start with Akshay first.
Awesome. Thanks, Sorav. Thanks for having me. Firstly, I think it's great to be celebrating this day. It's a very important day for all of us marketers. So it's great to be, with among, I think I'm seeing 2,500 attendees. That's mind blowing, superb. I mean, it's the best way to spend a Friday evening. So firstly, thanks for having me. Now coming straight to the question, what's the one thing I'm seeing clients really wanting in 2023 is, I think clients are really looking for more partners in their business journeys. And we've seen it across, the past few years that clients are really coming to agencies saying that, okay, don't just come to me with the intention of creating 5 good posts or just doing a small campaign. It's more about getting really deeper into the client's business and partnering with them on their business journey. And I think that's one thing that clients are really asking us, saying that, how do we integrate stronger with them in their journey? And I think the more and more the industry evolves and the more that digital starts getting its importance with the amount of money being spent on the platforms, I think the integration and the integrated mindset is something that clients are looking to us for. So that would be my one thing that I would see in the next year for sure.
Yes. Yes, go ahead, Rajiv.
Thanks, Saurabh. So I think there are actually a few things, but if I would to look at the way the technology trends are going, I think the one thing in 2023 and beyond clients will be veering towards would be different kinds of automation, whether AI-led or operational-led use of technology, because any agency that's still more people-dependent and not technology-dependent is still working in the mode of yesterday. And I believe that, more and more agencies are going to be tech-driven agencies. Digital marketing was always tech-driven, using third-party tools. But I think it's going to get more and more tech that intelligently automates, saves times for client, improves efficiencies at scale. And in general, the discussion between clients and people is less operational and more strategic.
Right. So, Rajiv, which marketing tech platforms do you see popping up? There's the same question for Akshay. If you guys have already been using some in your business right now, what are those?
So I'm a bit biased because I built one over the last 2 years. It's called Rebid. But beyond that, I think there are 3 challenges that marketing tech platforms will solve over the next 3 to 5 years, which is complexity, because 10 years ago there was just Google and Facebook, but now there's a laundry list of walled garden ad platforms, and there is the open web with programmatic and so on and so forth. Addressability, the cookieless future, everybody's talking about that. So how do you address the right customers with all of that? And then the third thing being transparency. which is a big question mark on agencies across many markets across the world. And there are multiple platforms that work in conjunction, marketing and ad tech platforms, to deliver on these three. It's very hard to put one platform, and I don't want to put another plug for my own platform. So yeah, that's how I'd keep it.
That's a good one, Rajiv. Akshay, what's your take on the same?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Rajiv. What he's saying is that automation and tech is, of course, very, very important to instill into all our businesses. Of course, we get a lot more efficiencies when we have tech enabled into all of our processes. I think one part of it that I'm really excited to see is with the entire D2C boom sort of coming in, and of course, clients wanting to acquire first party, zero party. The entire marketing automation journey has become very important as well. Is that how do you really hone and prune the data you're acquiring? How are you really being in touch with your customers? At multiple touch points, and keeping them warm all the time. You can't let the lead become a cold lead. It needs to be warm at every single point in time to make them convert in the future. So I think, yeah, marketing automation for me is going to be a big one as well, in the entire sphere of tech. Of course, Ravi spoke about the entire ad tech piece as well, and there's lots of chatter about that as well in terms of the entire programmatic piece. But I'm very keen on seeing how the D2C with marketing automation sort of goes forward in the coming year. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So marketing technology for 2023, marketing automation for 2023. So if you have already not adapted, that's one of the things that all of you listening to us should start looking into. Okay, I think a lot of people here in this room are also aspiring digital marketers, or they are people who are always they have this constant question on the mind, what's next? What should I upgrade to? So what are some of the skills that you would like to see in an experienced digital marketer to acquire in 2023? Because you're constantly hiring, right? You've been doing that process, and we've been churning people in the process. And then a fresher to acquire to get inside the agency. So I'll start with Rajiv this time. Rajiv, you have done the drill in the past, so I'm sure you know what is that is important for them at this point of time. So we'll start with you on this.
So I think when we used to hire, let's say 5 or 7 years ago, I mean, I built a fairly large agency before this current company called What Consult. We used to hire specialists, right? I think the world is a bit changing now. What you want to hire is for creative technologists, right? Creative and media technologists who are not who are polyglot in their skill set. When I say polyglot, this is a term that comes from the development side. If you hire developers, if they know beyond Java, Node, or Python, they are called polyglot developers. They know more than one tech stack. In the same way, you don't want just a social optimization person, or just a search optimization person. You want to hire a person now in an agency that has a deep understanding of how digital media works, has a good understanding of marketing as an overall level as well, and yet has his fingers deep into automation, technology, ability to link one A to B, B to C, C to D, and get it all working together without having to hire another 10 people, right? Someone who thinks, like a technologist, but works on media and marketing. Yet he should not be, like just knowing, I know only social, I know only search, or I am a specialist at X. I think that's what agencies of the future will need. And those are the people who will actually scale up all the way up to the management level, who are able to cut across streams in digital, because digital is getting far more complex now than it used to be.
Right. Awesome. Akshay, what's your take on that?
No, I mean, I think Rajiv literally said the same answer. I was going to say that we typically like hiring generalists as compared to specialists. Of course, specialists can add their own bit of specialization to the domain expertise. It could be SEO, it could be media, of course, could be content, creative, production, for example. But I think someone who can think across the board will really do well, because of the way things have gotten integrated, right? The lines are so blurred, even between departments nowadays, right? Like someone writing short form copy wants to write the long 1,000-word articles as well. Someone who's writing social media posts also wants to write a script for a film, right? So those lines are so blurred these days that of course, you need to be a great communicator because you're coming into an industry which is all about communication. Now, the communication could either be a video, could be static, could be a design, could be, a good writing text as well. But, of course, having someone who can generalize, have a more generalistic view towards the entire digital is, of course, very important. And I think Rajiv wants to come in.
Yeah, I just want to add, maybe someone who doesn't even know how to write, but who knows how to use Chat GPT really well, I'd
Exactly.
hire that guy. So just being more contextual and current in these times, I'd say
Yeah,
that.
I think most of the agencies of future are Chat GPT. Like, I mean, literally, you just got to put in keywords and your content's ready, right? Like, I mean, especially the long form, like, you can literally say, like, 5 things to do in Mumbai in 1,200 words, and like, it gives you like a detailed 1,200 word article. No, but I think that's one. And maybe for freshers, for example, I think for freshers, primarily because they're in a space to learn, maybe they can start learning a bit about Web3 as well. I think I know India's adoption of Web3 is still a few years away because we're still
Did you say Web3?
Web3, yes, Web3, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're still a few years away in the Web3 journey, but if you want to acquire a skill, I think now is a good time to at least start understanding the fundamentals of it, because you never know how fast we might actually pivot towards a Web3 solution. It could also be like understanding how, the NFT space works, how the blockchains are built, how the metaverse as a platform is also trying to be built out as well. Of course, there's a lot of negativity and taboo around the entire thing because people think Web3 is purely cryptocurrency and trading, and now the markets are down, and all that kind of stuff's happening. But I think just understanding the fundamentals of Web3 could also be a great way to, get your mind running because Web3 can solve a lot of problems. It need not just be about cryptocurrencies, it can solve a lot of problems for clients. So yeah, I think for freshers, maybe Web3 could be a good starting point also. Yeah.
In
Awesome.
fact,
That's great.
just
Yeah,
wanted to
Raj, go
add
ahead.
one point to that. I talked about somebody having across the board knowledge. For freshers, I think if you really want to be a specialist, then be on the bleeding edge of technology. And which is where I agree with Akshay that Web3, or take it even further, right? I mean, if you were just focused on AR ads and you want to be a specialist on that, right? If you want to be a specialist, it has to be in the bleeding edge of the tech. Today, being a specialist in search and social, which are platforms of, I wouldn't say yesterday, they are still platforms of today, but for someone like me who's seen this industry for 14, 15 years, there are too many people in that specialization. As a fresher, you want to stand out, then be a specialist on bleeding edge, the fringes, so as to say.
Right. Awesome. So what move have you taken with respect to metaverse or Web3 in your agency? I'm sure I've been hearing that a lot of agencies gearing up towards metaverse. So Akshay, if you would like to throw some light on that, if you have done something in that. Yes.
We're actually building out a metaverse for Britannia. We're building out like an entire detailed metaverse for them. Actually taking a step back, where we are currently in our Web3 journeys in the education phase, a lot of my time, because I'm very keen on the entire Web3 space, I'm very interested about it. Like a lot of my time is going actually educating the teams, educating clients as well. So there is an innate want to know, but of course to implement is taking some time. To sell the idea is taking some time. So I'm okay with that. I think as long as the conversations are happening, go in the right direction, I'm okay with that. So while we are building on a couple of metaverses right now for key clients, it is fairly slow. In fact, we are building out an entire NFT collection for Shebang as well, for some of our key employees. Going to build in some utilities into the NFT as well. So we're trying to internalize some of these things. So even the teams internally start getting excited about the entire Web3 space. I think the more they get exposure, the more they'll ask questions and be inquisitive. So just I think two things happening. One is the internal project and one is for Britannia. But I'm looking to pitch a lot more. So yeah, let's see what comes out of it.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. So all of you here listening to us, Web3 is the keyword. Just go ahead in the chat and type Web3 and show me that energy that you've got this straight in your head. Put that in the chat right now, all of you. Lovely. Okay, so I have the next question for you both this time. And the question is, what has been the smartest move of yours in 2022 as an entrepreneur? There's some decision that you had taken in the initial years, like in initial months of 2022, and you believe that was the best decision that you've taken for this year. So what was that decision? If anything that you would like to share with us, we'll start with Rajiv this time on this topic.
Well, all decisions pale in terms of starting up again. So maybe 2022, there's no one decision. There are many decisions that are compete with each other. But in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, I founded my third company after selling my second one to Dentsu. And honestly, as an entrepreneur, that's the best decision you take. It's the hardest. You've done the whole thing, grown a company, it's 450 people, you sold it, and then you start again from zero, right? No matter how many times you do it, it's my third time, but it's always going to be something that you will feel is special. And now 2.5 years later, with a 60-member team and building a platform company that I am building currently, which is new for me because before this I was building a services agency, right? It's exciting. I mean, every day is an exciting day, right? It's being back in the trenches as a startup.
It's also the trend of every digital entrepreneur, right? They start into services and then they get into product mode. Like how Neil Patel also has been building Uber Suggest and acquired answerthepublic.com in the recent times. So that's some good thing up there, Rajiv. Akshay, what's your point up there on this?
Yeah, I'll probably generalize the answer, not just for the past 1 year, but for the past 2 years, because I think it's been a very similar, we've gone through waves of COVID and waves of lockdown. I think a couple of things that come to mind is one is I'm very grateful that we didn't have to let off any of our teams or let off any of our employees. Because I mean, we exist in a human capital intensive industry, and getting talent, is very, very hard. And probably Rajiv will concur with me that, getting the right kind of talent is really difficult nowadays. So just I think maintaining the teams, of course, profitability was hit substantially in the past couple of years, but just maintaining the teams has been one of the key things. And now we're reaping the benefits because now that things have gotten better, things have opened up better. The same guys who you held on to for dear life, they are sort of being so loyal to you and giving back in manifolds, right? So I think we respect the kind of the teams we built out in the past couple of years, and I think that's been one key thing that hold who you keep and hold who you hire because they're your assets. And I think also second thing is that we try to diversify ourselves into multiple, additional services as well, depending on what we've been hearing in terms of how the industry is migrating and how the entire client demands are moving towards. So we've incorporated a couple of new verticals as well within Shebang. One's the entire Shebang Academy, which is all about the learning and development. One is, the entire branding side to it, Shebang Theta. We've also launched our own research wing because consumer research and insighting has become so very important to build any campaigns. That plus the talent management wing as well. So even that's been a good move for us to sort of expand our service offerings. Yeah.
Wow, lovely. I think that's a great portfolio to build. I mean, just not agency, but a lot of other things, which is very important. Yeah. So it's like a complete 360-degree marketing experience for a client working with Shebang. Lovely. So guys, some of you wanted to ask questions. Please feel free to ask those questions in the chat. And if I feel that they are good enough, we may pick that up and I will shoot it to the panel today. So please go ahead. I've kept it open for you guys to post those questions to these two stalwarts in the industry. They've been doing really well. I look up to them when it comes to digital marketing agency. All right. So my next question to you guys. A lot of people always try to innovate when it comes to client acquisition. So what's that one mantra that you would like to share? Because be it from Rajiv, when you are trying to acquire a new client, Akshay, you're trying to acquire a new client. What do you do? Like, what's the process like? Like, do they come to you guys? Do you guys do cold pitches? So what's your strategy of acquiring a new client on board? So that key mantra, some secrets that people didn't know. Oh, wow, this is something that we could do. So Rajiv, we'll start with you and I'll learn from you, or we'll all learn from you in the process today. Go ahead.
I think today the world is truly global. You can acquire clients globally as well. Services business slightly harder, but platform businesses, we actually, I just did a demo today to a client out of London sitting in Bombay, right? The way to acquire clients is twofold, right? Become a knowledge source for your service or offering or product or platform. Now, there are multiple ways to do that, to become a knowledge and insight source. Blogs, podcast, email interviews with these clients. You can outreach them, do discussions like you are doing with us in this webinar of sorts, and do as much as you can, right? As much as humanly possible. Second piece is if when you get a client on a demo call or a pitch call or a pitch meeting or whatever, the first thing to do is to listen very intently. Most clients in the first 15-20 minutes of them talking to you give away hooks on how to sell to them. Right? They actually tell you, give you a map to what will I buy, right? So if you are smart enough, within the first 20 minutes, you can assess how to position your product, service, offering, whatever it is, to this client. But you need to listen very intently and probably even make notes if you are not the retention kind of person. The problem too many times is that salespeople and people, even founders, are to be blamed for this. We are listening to react, right, immediately, and trying to close a deal in that same half an hour, rather than solve a problem for the client in the most genuine way possible. And that is what is needed. If you listen intently and focus on impressing the client with your understanding of his problem, I think battle is 80% won. He'd want to work with you.
Awesome. Love some crazy good takeaway, right? Becoming the knowledge hub and understanding the problem and providing the solutions up there. Akshay, your take on this?
Yeah, one of the principles that we sort of follow at Shebang is that we keep saying that treat the client's business like your own. And the more the client can see that in the conversation, being an intent listener, understanding what their pain points are, ask them what is giving them sleepless nights, right? I think the more you can ask these questions, the more the client is open to sharing. And that's where you can start adding value. And honestly, it eventually, while a lot of the relationships are transactional, saying, okay, I'm giving you a retainer, so you got to do this kind of a work for me. But I think just showcasing to the client that, hey, I'm willing to go over and above to do something more to make your business win, really has helped us win a lot of the pitches, because it's not just about giving that great one video idea or one great campaign thought, right? It's about really trying to understand where we can sort of plug the gap in the client's business problems. And if a creative solution is a part of that, then great. So I think adding value really helps. I would say don't sell yourself too short as well. Sometimes I see people trying to just undercut for the sake of giving free work and getting clients on board. I think maintain your value, maintain your position as well when you're talking to clients, because you'll have enough amount people coming saying, "Hey, free mein kaam karwa lo," kind of a thing. But I think especially for people starting off the agencies, I think maintain a stature, maintain your value, because that's something that's going to define you as you grow in the industry as well. But yeah, I mean, that's something quick 2 bits for me.
That's some good insights, Akshay. Akshay, somebody just asked, what is the most important thing to keep in mind before starting a digital marketing agency or any other business? We'll go a little generic here. Some questions from the chat. Yes.
I mean, always comes down to the question saying why, right? Why are you starting this? What are you trying to solve for? What is the latent need for you in the industry or in the segment? Becomes very important question to answer. So if you can't find the answer to the why, and typically it can't just be like, hey, because there are requirements for agencies, that can't be the why, right? You got to it's like an onion peel, right? You peel off one more why, peel off one more why. So you go 3 layers deep and see why is the why so important. And that becomes a starting point for anything. And I mean, Rajiv has started 3 businesses, so I'm sure he's asked the whys many times in the past. But yeah, I think for anyone starting out, just answer the why. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Oh,
Rajiv,
and you can read Simon Sinek, right? Start with why. One of my favorite books, actually.
can you repeat the book?
Simon Sinek, Start with Why. It's nothing to do with starting businesses. It's more about introspectively your own why. But I think the premise is the same. If you ask me, it can be implemented for anything. Yeah.
Awesome. Start with why. Rajiv, your take on the same question.
So starting any business is a life decision, and the 3 things you need to know. Firstly, who you are, what motivates you, what drives you, what keeps you on the path. It's not easy to know that when you're young. I started my first business when I was 20, right? I was a very action-oriented person, still I am. So I know that about myself right now, but I know a lot more now after almost 17, 18 years of, doing business. But at least know your strengths and your weaknesses, assess them, know where you stand with family, because family support is critical when you are building a business. Every day is not going to be great. Every day is not going to be very inspiring. You're going to put a lot of stress, both mental and physical at certain times on yourself. And you need a support system, whether it's your friend, your wife, your sister, your father, whatever it is, right? You'll need support systems. So know that as well. Third, know your financial strength. How soon do you need to get going on a job, who depends on you financially? That's a very important question, because your motivation or your ability to stay put is decided by your financial strength, right? And I truly believe in this. Business is not won by the strongest or the fastest or the smartest. It's won by the last man standing, right? It's your ability to weather all storms that makes you a winner, and not your ability to fight everyone else or be the biggest bad boy in the club, right? Yeah, I mean, these are the three things. And the fourth thing, whenever you are starting a business, find a large enough market, because you can't change your market. You can pivot your product, your service, your offering, but you can't change your market. If your market is very, very small and niche, then you won't be able to build a scalable business. So find a market that's large enough and fast growing enough. That would be the fourth thing out of the first three things that I mentioned.
Lovely. Some good inputs there. One question that has come from people is, what are the tools that you use inside your agency, social media tools or any tools? There's a list of tools, like, so what tools do you use inside your company and why? So that's a very interesting question. Rajiv, we'll start with you. If there are any tools that you guys deploy inside, be it social media management tool or be it
as a platform company, besides for using our own platform tools, we use a lot of tools, about 10-15 of them. We use CRM tools. We use meeting recording tools. We analyze every meeting we do. We actually tag them.
So can we say possible to get into specifics? Sorry for stopping you, but they want to know the names of these.
So I would say Wingman is a great tool, which is for meeting recording, right? Okay. For a CRM, HubSpot is a great tool, right? So you can check that out, right? HubSpot actually is a very cool email marketing tool as well. Has a lot of interesting features to track responses when you're doing sales and marketing, all of that as well. Besides for these two, I think there are a lot of tools for businesses to find, who you are talking to. They are, like LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is a paid tool from LinkedIn, is very useful in reaching to customers, right? So I would stop at 3. I'd leave Akshay to fill the rest, right, from his perspective.
Yeah. So, sort of, we've actually moved to Zoho. We've moved to Zoho as a platform completely, actually, for all of our finances, for our HRMS, for the LMS as well. So Zoho was one thing that we really incorporated this year in the past 18 months. We use a lot of SCM Rush and SimilarWeb as well for more analytics, keyword tracking analytics, competition mapping as well. I think these are two tools that I use quite a bit. Also Trello every now and then I use for, just like management of boards, keeping track of, work processes typically. So yeah, I think these are 3-4 that I mentioned. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. So we use Zoho too inside the company. It makes our life much easier. Besides this is, of course, for social media management, pretty much we use Facebook Creator Studio when it comes to scheduling and stuff. But we've been using SEMrush social media tool as well. It's doing brilliant in terms of scheduling. So we Wingman for Zoom recording, HubSpot for CRM and email marketing, LinkedIn for Sales Navigator.
So this is the list that I've just shared. But all the speakers have announced, so I've just shared that list.
And you can also actually add in 2 more tools that we use typically from an automation standpoint. Is CleverTap and WebEngage. We use them also for some of the marketing automation stuff, the journeys we build up for clients.
Right.
And in most cases, the clients have already onboarded them, then we sort of manage it for them. But yeah, just adding 2 more. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that, Akshay. So last question for today evening. And what's the one word for digital marketer for 2023? Not one word, or few things that you believe digital marketers should focus on in like we started the discussion on the same topic, of course, marketing automation. But besides this, you may see that there is certain platforms that they need to focus on, because a lot of times you're just solely looking at Facebook, Instagram, and Google. These are top three on our mind. But I'm sure in your experimentation this year, and I'm sure, Rajiv, with your marketing intelligence and analysis, you may be suggesting certain more platforms for people to look into a lot more seriously. So we'll start with you on this one, Rajiv. Which are those platforms do you think you recommend to people right
So
in
I would, if you haven't yet checked out Chat GPT, you should do it. It's a free tool. Please do it today, because it will blow your mind on what's possible with AI. There's DALI as well, which actually creates creatives, right? DALL dash E. I would say every AI enabled tool out there, just do, AI copy creation tools, AI creative creation tools, and you'll get a laundry list of tools on Google. But Chat GPT is a free one, and it's popular, I'd say, because generative AI, which generates creatives, content, visuals, is going to transform marketing from this year and in this decade for sure. And I actually answered one of the questions that someone asked, that will 20 digital marketers be replaced by tools? The answer is an emphatic yes, if you are only looking at digital marketers as operators and not thinkers, right? Because operations will be replaced by AI. Humans will edit, they will curate, but will they create? That's definitely something that's in question. When it comes to a lot of the regular creation work that was done by agencies in the past, right? Of course, unique Picassos once a time, of course, people will look forward to that.
Awesome. Good one, Rajiv. Akshay, what's your take on the same?
Yeah, I think of course, the entire AI space is very, very important. But I think two other ones that I'm seeing is like, one is the multilingual platforms and the video platforms that are really going to boom. And it's not your typical reels. It's going to be the Bharat coming onto your Moj and Takataks of the world. 160 million people on a platform like Moj and Takatak, right? I mean, Facebook took 10 years to acquire that in India. These guys
Share,
have
chat also
Chat
part of
chat as well, absolutely. Because multilingual video first platforms are going to be the way forward. So you better get used to being in front of the camera and making content yourself, because most content writers are going to become video experts as well. And I see sort of a lot of your content as well has now really upped its game when it comes to the edit style and the kind of dual conversations you've been having. So I think that's really the way forward. And I think embrace more platforms which are non Instagram and Meta. It's going to be a lot of that, Moj, Takatak, Share Chat, and multilingual for sure, is what I'm seeing becoming the next big one, where the rest of Bharat will come on to now, the 500 million.
Just curious to know, have you invested in any of these platforms from an advertising per se in the last year, and what kind of results you have received? Just a quick one.
We've just started investing a bit in Share Chat. So I don't have any numbers to share with you at this point in time, but we are running a couple of campaigns right now. But maybe in the next few months, I'll have a few results to share with you. Yeah.
Awesome, Akshay. That's a really good one. All right. As I asked you this question earlier, that one last word for digital marketer for 2023, what that is. We'll start with you, Akshay, and then we go to Rajiv.
Oh, just one last word. I mean, I would say that be a sponge. Just be a sponge. Like imbibe as much as you can. Keep an open mind. There is so much to be learned. Honestly, I learn something every single day, and of course, platforms like these, conference like these. Also, I was actually today at this E4M programmatic, conclave happening in Bombay, where I learned so much about the entire programmatic space as well. So I think just have a very open mindset towards what's going to come. It's going to hit you like a truck, but imbibe as much as you can, because you've got to be abreast with the way things are moving, in the digital space. So yeah.
Awesome. Rajiv, what's your take?
So it's always been the same word for me, at least, and it's be curious, or curiosity, right? I think from 10 years ago to now, everything that you want to learn about digital marketing is a Google search away. Or in today's day, even Chat GPT, you can chat with it and ask it questions and it'll give you answers. So whatever you want, take your pick. But the internet basically is the biggest university for anything that you want to learn on digital marketing. So as long as you're curious and you are driven, you will find your path.
Awesome. So that we come to the end of the session. That was an amazing panel, and I'm sure you guys must have noted down some very interesting, valuable insights from them. Did you learn a lot from these brilliant minds? If yes, just go in the chat and say LAL right now. Or if you're just going to chat and say LAL, bring that energy right now. Okay. So also tell us what was your biggest takeaway from today's session. I'm sure ChatGPT, they did say it quite a few times. That's on your top of the mind. I'm definitely going to check the tool out after this session. So I see the same thing. All right. Now, I'll stop the window for you guys to share your chat with us. I'm going to share the URLs of Akshay and Rajiv, their social media channels with you guys. Please connect with them, follow them right now. So Rajiv's LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter is right there. Akshay's is right there. Just show your support to them because they've spent that last 30 minutes just to ensure that when you enter 2023, you need to know what is going to work. And I think we did get a lot of insights from them today. So go ahead and follow them right now on social media, all of you. One for a quick post, I just want you guys to smile. You can even show your thumbs up and smile for this for social media. So all of you can take screenshots. My team is taking screenshot. This is up for social media. All right, don't forget to tag Rajiv Dingra on Instagram and Akshay Gurnani, and don't forget to follow them. Guys, thank you so much for doing this. You've always been very kind, both Rajiv and Akshay. Every time I approach you both, I just feel that this is exactly what the community needs to do. They need to support entrepreneurs struggling in the space. So every time I am stuck, I reach out to one of them, and they've never stopped.
Sorav, I think I'd like to say here that you are doing phenomenally well. And over the last 10 years, I've seen you firsthand. I think you deserve way more credit than any one of us out here. Right, you're doing phenomenally well. Even this panel and this webinar and this digital marketing day for these 2,000 people, I think the people here who are attending this should give you a big hand because you are doing a phenomenal job. At least from my hand, you have my vote, and I'm extremely proud of you, having seen you over the last 10, 12 years.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you, Akshay. Thank you for that support. Wishing you great evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Rajiv. See you.